YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we'll be talking about secret packs. So, secret packs and selection packs are quite different. Selection packs are in the shop for quite some time, like a few months or so, and afterwards, they'll be removed from the game entirely. Secret packs, on the other hand, are perpetually in the game, and all you need to do to have that appear in your store is either to craft that specific SR or UR card, or you manage to pull that specific SR or UR card. So the reason why I am doing this is to help out new players for Master Duel on to picking a specific deck that they really like. This is like somewhat of a guide to you on what are the good secret packs there is currently in the game that you can actually go into and then get most of the stuff that you'll need from that specific pack. So I won't be including some other secret packs that has their own structure deck, like for example Salamangreats, they have their own structure deck and they have their own secret pack as well. But I would be recommending some structure decks for specific secret packs that has some useful cards in them that is needed for this specific archetype of the secret pack. So without further ado, this is my top 10 secret packs for Master Duel. So the first secret pack that we're gonna talk about today is the Alba Abyss. So for all those who are old players of Master Duel, you know what this is. This is the Branded Despia secret pack. So some notable 9 UR cards that is widely used for the Branded Despia cards and pretty much useful for the deck as well is the Lobelian, the Mirror Jade, the Albion, the Titanic Lad, the Mirror Courier, and the Branded Fusion, also with the Branded Lost. Now, these UR cards are basically like 2 of each in most cases here for the Branded Despia deck. SRs, you'll have Ecclesia or the Incredible Ecclesia to use for your Fallen Valbas, but I think this is widely used for Sword Souls. Hopefully in a couple of weeks or so, we'll have a secret pack for the Sword Soul, so that's one thing also that you can actually go into if ever we'll have those. Dogmatica is also good with regards to Dogmatica's Shadows and Invoke decks. The Spring Ends, you have your Branded Banishment for the Branded Despia deck. Rare and Normal in Rarity are all here for your core cards for a Branded Despia deck as well. So basically, you'll have everything in your arsenal in crafting out a Branded Despia deck. So a lot of URs here. I think we have 9 URs in total here that you have a higher percentage on getting like 5 or more URs on 10 packs that you actually pulled. So the only card that you need here is the Albor, which is an SR card outside from this secret pack, and that is just an SR, so you can just craft that one. So it's much better to craft an SR card rather than a UR card, so that's far better. For the structure deck that I would recommend on opening is or buying from the store is the Cybernetic something, the Cyber Dragon structure deck that has the fusion deployment in it. So that leads me into the downside of this secret pack as well. So even though you get a higher chance of getting a UR from this secret pack, just making the Branded Despia deck in total or in general is very expensive at current state, especially that we have a lot of supports nowadays for the Branded Despia deck with the Cartesia, Striking Dragon, the Dust Dragon, and even the Garura added into the deck. Also, we have the Visuals included as well for a good support for the Branded Despia deck as well. So majority of your main deck monsters and your extra deck monsters are SR or UR. So it's going to be like a little bit hard to create that deck, but majority of the time or majority of the core cards that you'll need for a branded deck is all here in this secret pack. So that is one good secret pack that you can go into if ever you're starting off the game. So that is Branded Despia, guys. Let's move towards the second secret pack, which is... Alright, so the second secret pack that I would like to recommend to you guys is the Singular Strike Overthrow. Now, this secret pack has 2 archetypes in it, and that is the Mathmex and the Sky Strikers. So 2 of the best rogue decks there is currently in Master Duel, especially for the Sky Strikers, where they actually received a ton of increase to their monsters, so that's really good for them. You have your boss monster here, which is Final Sigma, your monster from the main deck, which is the Circular, and of course the Alambertian going into more place for the Mathmech. Sky Strikers, on the other hand, you have your Kagari, your Linkage, and your Engage. The Hamp is quite optional for a Sky Striker deck. I think 0 to 1 copy of which in a deck are people are going into. But enough about that. SRs, rares, and normal in rarity, these are the core cards needed for the deck on their specific archetype. So you have your Shizuku, your Zeke, of course, and the Widow Anchor, and the Hornet Drone for the Sky Strikers. You have also your Nabla, your Sigma, and of course your Laplacian for the Math Mechs, and some other cards that you'll need also for the specific archetype. So the structure deck that I would recommend for this, or typically for the Math Mech archetype, is the Salamangreat structure deck, wherein you'll have a copy of Signet Mining on a UR, so you don't have to craft like 3 of these if ever you don't have any. Now for the downside for this deck, unlike the branded secret pack, this is a little bit hard to pull for the URs, since majority of your monsters here, or the boss monsters, or the necessary cards for the deck, are typically URs. So for example, if you're trying to make a Sky Striker deck, you just got a hold of a circular or an Alambertian, so it's gonna be like hard to go into because you can pick the specific cards that you'll need for that specific archetype that you're building. And if ever you're trying to make a Math Mech deck and you basically have a Sky Striker card out of it, so it's kind of those scenarios that's really annoying. So that is still good anyway. That is Singular Strike Overthrow. Let's move towards the third secret pack, which is... So the next secret pack is Essence of Flora and Ocean. So I think this is the anime archetypes for one specific protagonist. I forgot the name, but yeah, the first one was the Trickstar deck that she was using, and then afterwards she went into the Marinces archetype. First of all, the UR monsters, if you are going with the Marinces archetype, the highest boss monsters in this secret pack is SR in rarity. So majority of the time you just have to like pick one of these monsters out. All of the cards for the main deck as well are rare in rarity or normal in rarity for the Marinces archetype. Trickstars, on the other hand, is quite different. They have your Holy Angel, their Light Stage, and of course their Candina. So I'm not sure if you want to go into that, but Marinces at the current state as a rogue deck, it's still really good for a rogue deck. Yeah, pros for this deck, some of the boss monsters are SR, so it's easy enough to attain. Other than the Marinces names, of course, in the rare or normal in rarity. So the downside for this secret pack is the Argonaut and the Triangle boss monster, which is not included into this secret pack. But fret not, you only need one copy for the Argonaut and the Triangle for the Marinces archetype, and that's basically it. So you won't have a problem for that if ever you want to go into a link-based deck. So that is Marinces and Trickstars. Let's move towards the next secret pack, which is... So the next secret pack that we're going to talk about is Vessels of Freedom. Now this has two archetypes as well, same with the Marinces and the Trickstars. So we have here the Fur Hire and the Plunder Patrol. Some other good archetypes as well for a rogue deck. So the widely used cards for the Fur Hire archetype are normal in rarity, so it's easy enough to access. For Hire boss monster needs only one copy, so that includes the Folgo and the Rafale. So you just have to craft one of them. If ever you manage to pull one copy, then you just have to get the other one afterwards. But anywho, that's basically the ratio in a deck. The downside for this is for the Plunder Patrol, Blackbeard, and the Shipyard are UR copies, and you need like 2 to 3 copies for each. Blackbeard, I'm pretty sure you'll need 3 copies for this in a deck. For Hare, on the other hand, you have Donner and Rex are from a selection pack that is still in Master Duel, but I think it's going to be like removed in a couple of days or weeks or so. Luckily, they are craftable. So you have 1 UR for the Donner, and then the Rex is 1 rarity only, so it's easy enough to attain if ever you want to craft them. So that is basically the For Hire archetype. Let's move towards the next secret pack. So for the next secret pack, we have the Star-Studded Futures. Now these has 2 archetypes as well. So this is the Orcus and the Crusadia secret pack. So the best thing about this secret pack is that Orcus is still a rogue deck and is still one of the best actually that you can go into Master Duel. This can actually defeat one of the meta decks. Crusadias, on the other hand, their boss monsters are SR in rarity. So this is the Equinox. And also a copy of Magus. So these 2 monsters right here are the core monsters for a Crusadia deck. Other than that, you'll have it on the rare and normal in rarity. For the Orcos, on the other hand, you'll have your Girsu on 2 copies as well for the main deck, and then the Dingirso 2 copies as well for the extra deck. And you may want to get a copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. This is a really good staple in most of the linked decks that you are using. Even if you're not using like Orcos or Crusadia, this is still a really good staple. Other than that, majority of the cards that you'll need for an Orcos deck are all rare or normals, so it's easy enough to attain. SRs also for the Galatia and the Longirso is attainable here as well. That includes also for the 1 copy of the Orcos Crescendo. Now the downside for this is the Girso and Girso are 2 copies each in a deck, so you might be having a hard time for that. Unlike the other secret packs wherein they have like more than 5 URs in a secret pack, and I think majority of the secret packs when Master Duel was released has like only 5 or less UR monsters in their secret packs, that it's really hard to attain. So that is it. Let's move towards the next secret pack, which is... So the next secret pack that we're gonna talk about is Prehistoric Beast Advance. So quite interesting. I think you already know from the picture what we're talking about. This is the Dino secret pack. Now typically the Dino and the Jurak secret pack, but mostly Dinos because the cards you'll usually get here are Dino. Pros for this secret pack: all of the core cards from the Dino deck are in this secret pack, but yeah, we'll talk about the cons later on. Most of the cards here are for Dinos or for the Dino deck, so majority of the time you'll pull into a Dino monster that you can use for the Dino deck. So with regards to the cons for this deck, Tyranno, Oviraptor, and Fossil Dig are your copies, and they are needed like 2 to 3 copies. Tyranno, I'm pretty sure you'll need 2 copies of this. The Oviraptor and the Fossil Dig is 3 copies, so it's gonna be like a hard time for you to pull out those specific UR Dino monsters. Lastly, support cards like the Scrap monsters and the Calamity monsters are from 2 different secret packs as well, but even so, core Dino monsters are in this set, so it's really good. So that is the Dinos and the Jurek. Let's move towards the next secret pack. So the next secret pack that we're gonna talk about is Mother Nature's Snare. So this is the Trap Tricks secret packs, and like I said earlier, this is only Trap Tricks in general. So you'll have your main boss monsters here, your core monsters here, and the trap cards, and of course the rare and the normal trap cards that you'll use for the deck, and also the monsters. The downside for this is UR boss monsters needs like 2 or 3 copies of each. I know Shera is on 3 copies for a pure Trap Tricks deck, and that is the bread and butter for a Trap Tricks deck. But I think we're getting like a structure deck for this, so it's not gonna be like hard to attain the boss monsters here. So yeah, that's one thing there. Yeah, that is the Trap Tricks, easy enough to use. They are very straightforward for a control deck. Let's move towards the next secret pack. So the next secret pack that we're gonna talk about is the Savage Crimson Dragon. Now this is an anime deck piloted by the protagonist for the 5Ds. So I forgot the name, but a majority of the cards here are all Resonator monsters or the Red Hot Dragon archetype. So like Dinos, they are 1 archetype secret packs. Everything you need for a Resonator deck is all here. You don't have to go into another secret pack to attain some other support cards. Majority of the support cards are all here. That includes the Resonator monsters. So boss monsters are used on 1 copy, so that is somewhat good for a deck. So you don't need to like craft 2 or more copies from this. The downside for this is all of the Resonator boss monster are all UR. So the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend of King Calamity, the Red Nova Dragon, the Red Supernova Dragon, the Tyrant Red Dragon, and of course the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend are all UR copies that you need 1 copy of each for a Resonator deck. But even so, I think this is still a promising deck for an anime deck as well. So if you're a fan of the 5D's protagonist, go into this secret pack if you wish. So that is the Resonators. Let's move towards the next one, which is... So the next secret pack that we're gonna talk about is the Great Old. So this is, from the look of on the picture, you guessed it, this is the Egyptian God secret pack. So if you are into the whole Generation 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! With the Obelisk, the Tormentor, Slifer, the Sky Dragon, and the Winged Dragon of Ra, this is the deck for you. Majority of the cards here are here. That includes also for the support. Also, the pieces of Exodia are also here as well if you want to go into an Exodia deck as well, so that's really good. But majority of the cards here are support to the Egyptian gods, so that's one thing there that you can use if you want to go into an Egyptian god deck. And like the resonators, boss monsters for this secret pack is 1 copy of each for the deck, so it's not going to be hard enough to acquire. SR monsters here can be used for other decks as well. That means you have also the left arm offering onto somewhat mill decks or stun decks as well. But like I said earlier, this is just a support, or most of the cards here are supports for the Egyptian god. So if you're into it, this is the secret pack for you. So that is the Egyptian god secret pack. Let's move towards the last one, which is... So the last secret pack that we're going to talk about is the Knowledge of the Myth Lords. So this is pendulums. So if you're into pendulums, this is one of the best secret packs there is that you can open into. There is Pendulum Magicians, but the reason I'm not going into that because there is a structure deck for the Pendulum Magicians. But anywho, okay, the downside for this is boss monsters are all you are, and you'll basically need like 2 or 3 copies of each in a deck, but excluding the Selene. I think you only need 1 copy of this for the extra deck. But majority of the monsters here, the Jackal, the Master of Magic, and of course the Beastmaster Cerberus, you'll have 3 copies of this for your main deck. SR monsters, majority you'll use this for the deck as well. Rare and normal in rarity, some of them are useful for the Endymion deck, but not all. So those are the top 10 secret packs that I really like. Some notable mentions is also the access code or the Code Talker secret pack, Soldiers from the Storm. So this is basically Code Talkers right here. Now the reason why I am not adding this is because Mathmix are a far better deck to use rather than the Code Talkers. But there are some cards here in the Code Talker that is quite useful, like the Lady the Bug as well. And like I said earlier, Signet Mining can be obtained from the Salamangreat structure deck, so it's easy enough to acquire. SRs are Transcode Talker and then the Code Talker inverted. This is really useful if you're going with a variant for the Mathmex and the Code Talkers. Other than that, you have the Code Talker generator and of course the microcoder also. But yeah, like I said, Mathmex is far better than the Code Talkers. And then some other notable secret packs is also the Immortal Royalty, which is the Eldritch secret pack. So 1 boss monster on 3 copies, and that is the Eldritch boss monster, but hard to pull since this shares with another archetype, which are the vampires, so it's really hard to actually pull it. SR is quite half and half for vampires and Eldritch supports, so you'll be having a hard time pulling this if ever you're going into an Eldritch deck. And then there's also the downside of getting the stun cards or the floodgate cards outside from these secret packs. And then the next one we'll have is the Dangers or the Kaiju or the Emerging Monstrosity Recon. So this is a secret pack for the Kaijus and the Danger archetype. So the reason why I am not adding this into my favorites as well, because Kaijus and Dangers are better off with another deck as supports rather than a general deck in total. And that is on my own opinion, by the way. So yeah, don't put that one in the comment section. So another notable mention are the heroes. Now the reason I'm not adding this to my favorites is because you need 4 secret packs with different monsters from those other secret packs that you'll need to build a hero deck. But yeah, those are one thing that you need to know. So the next one is the Dogmatica or Tri-Brigade secret pack. So this is the Echo Chamber Nation. Now the reason why I am not adding this is because you basically have 3 archetypes under 1 secret pack, so it's going to be hard to pull off some of the notable cards that you'll use. But I think this is closely onto my favorite as well, because you have 1 Shureg for your only boss monster for a Tri-Brigade archetype. The Fleur-de-Lis is 1 or 2 copies depending if you're going with a Dogmatica Shadow Invoke deck. Also the Dear Servant for 2 copies for a Dogmatica deck as well. Springlands is also here, by the way, so that's another archetype included into this secret pack. And majority of the cards here are all rare and normal in rarity, so it's easy enough to attain. But yeah, like I said, 3 archetypes under 1 secret pack that's a big no-no for me. And then my last secret pack that I want to mention as well is the Thunder Dragon secret pack, which is the Roaring Thunder. So the best thing about this secret pack is you can run with 1 or 2 copies of Titan and then 1 Colossus. So that's their boss monsters right there. SR are widely used for the Thunder Dragon deck, are all here as well. So core cards are also here. The downside for this is you'll be sharing this secret pack with the Watts, which is somewhat not a really good archetype to go into. And lastly, another downside for this is some other support cards for the Thunder Dragons are outside or is on another secret pack. So that's gonna be like, I'm having a hard time like putting into one of my favorites. But anywho, that is Thunder Dragons. So I think that's basically it for this video. Hope you enjoy this kind of content. Hope this video was insightful to you guys. So that is it for today. Keep safe, good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Good night.